Amazing Women Speak podcast, inspiring and motivating every Black woman to own, honor, and execute her amazing, individually and collectively, as it was established at birth.
I am Crystal L. Dunn, financial strategist, founder of the Amazing Women Network, and host of Amazing Women Speak. And so if you're watching this live, share this with your friends so they can join us on this conversation. And if you're watching the replay, copy the link, post it, and share it. Don't keep this goodness to yourself. It is that time of year. People are making New Year's resolutions. And in January, it's the same thing always. In January, I'm going to start to work out. I'm going to stop eating meat. I'm going to start, working on my business. I'm going to fix my credit. The list will go on and on and on. And then on January 17th, you're back to your old habits. So much so that January 17th is Ditch New Year's Resolution Day. So this is going to be a really good episode because Michele has a thing for New Year's resolution. So we are about to find out what that thing is. So welcome, Michele. Let's get it going and let's talk about it, please.
Thank you. Good evening, good people. Welcome to another episode where we get an opportunity to meet amazing women and unpack the bullshit that continues to plague us and hold us in spaces that we should not be held down in. My name is Michele Harper. It is my pleasure that I get to co-host these conversations with Crystal Gunn and get another opportunity to challenge our thinking around the ways in which we've been socialized. I'm really excited. As I tell you every week, this is the fastest hour of your day. And so the idea to get to hear from yet another amazing woman and hear her story and hear her views on this week's topic, I'm really looking forward to that. So before I get into the reason why I really have a pet peeve around New Year's resolutions, right? Like, here's the disclaimer. We all used to do it because we've all been socialized. And doesn't mean that we have to always do the things in which we've been socialized, because they are usually structured that way to hold us, as opposed to giving space to live our very best lives. So let's get an introduction. Who's here to join us tonight? And then we're going to unpack this bullshit. And I promise I will do my very best to be a co-host and not a guest, because those that know me for years, I've been talking about the bullshit of New Year's resolutions. Ms. Blakemore, come on in here and introduce yourself to the people.
Well, hello, Crystal, Michele. My name is Bukeka Blakemore. I go by the name Bukekastyle. And I am so honored to be here with you, beautiful ladies, and to also unpack this topic of the bullshit of New Year's resolutions. So honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we'll get to learn more about who you are, what it is that you do in this world, and the way that you bring your amazing in all of the spaces. And we want to begin to unpack the bullshit. So listen, I invite you in, as we do every week, to our listeners to drop your comments, your thoughts in the chat. We'd love to make you a part of this conversation actively. Crystal and I both pay attention to what's happening in the chat and pull those conversations and comments into the part of the conversation. Don't miss your blessing tonight. Don't miss your opportunity to really challenge yourself to break away from the ways in which we have been socialized. So I was so excited to be able to have this conversation as we get ready to face the new year. And how interesting to learn, right? Because again, like, we're so commercialized that there is a ditch day. Now that's a thing, right? And if that alone does not invite you to think differently about the ways in which you want to put pressure on December 31st at 11:59:59, the fact that we have already been told that by the 17th, we return to our normal. And so when Crystal said, we're going to have this conversation, again, with this being the fastest hour of the day, I'd like to launch deep right out of the gate. We don't have time for the shallow conversations, right? We're trying to change the narrative. We really want to push you into thinking differently And so when she said we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions and why they are working against us, the first thing that came to me was when we hold a date and a time to give us something, the minute we decide that we're doing that, we are denying God an opportunity to do what he does best, right? We're also suggesting that we're being promised all of those days ahead, because we start talking early December about New Year's resolutions. I want us to realize that we are denying God his opportunity to be God. We need to start doing the things that we desire for the rest of our lives right this moment. Bukeka, why does this conversation resonate with you so much? And what are the ways in which historically you lived into the New Year's resolution? And when was that aha moment that said, now, right? Carpe diem.
Well, let me tell you, what New Year's resolutions automatically do before you begin to do anything is to put you in a state of guilt. And guilt will freeze you. And anything that you do in terms of your actions from a place of guilt is really operating out of a place of fear, right? So you cannot succeed in anything operating from a place of fear. So that's why ditch day happens, because we are destined for it to fail, because we're starting out the gate from a place of being afraid to fail, of feeling guilty that for all the other times that we weren't able to do it before, it's just going to repeat itself, and it does. So that is why I decided, and I can't even remember how many years ago it was, because it was a long time ago when I decided I am never doing New Year's resolutions again. The only thing I do for New Year's is make some black eyed peas. And I do not feel guilty about it at all.
So I really like, right, like how you out of the gate, you lift it up, right? Like what it does is it freezes us and it's out of the fear. And I think about the things that we feel like we aren't worthy of, that we have to push against, right? And a lot of it comes out of a good place, right? Like we do vision boards, right? Like we set ourselves up for what we believe to be success. Recognizing, right? Like I really liked how you lifted up that there's this paralyzing thing that happens. There's this fear and it comes out of guilt, right? Like I really want you to unpack that for the folks a little bit more, because we don't recognize the ways in which guilt holds us back from doing the things in which we've been designed or purposed to do in this life.
Absolutely. So let's go to the commercialization of it for just a moment, right? I mean, when it comes to guilt, especially as women, when it comes to our bodies, we have built in our psyche and a sense of guilt, a sense of guilt of we're not doing enough with our bodies. We're not pleasing enough with our bodies. We're not doing for other people for enough, period, right? So when this whole sense of commercialization comes in from every single industry, particularly from health, all right, and wellness, dietary, all of those things, it taps into all of those years of what we've been told we should be doing with our bodies and who we should be doing them for. So we don't go to the gym to do anything for ourselves, for our own strength, for our own ability to have a healthier body. We do it so that we can make sure that our man likes the way that we look, right? Or we do it because and our mothers, God bless them, they've said some things to us that pertains to, watch your tummy, don't let it bulge out too much, that type of thing. And so we just have these little thoughts in our mind that have been ingrained in us, so that when it's time for the commercials to come in, it triggers all of those things. And so we move with this impulse of, I got to do this, because if I don't, I'm going to disappoint somebody else, even if they're no longer here. If I don't do this, I'm going to lack something. So again, when we move in any direction from a place of fear, lack, guilt, shame, it's not going to be successful. So we have to do everything from a place of letting all of that go. We have to do everything from a place of, I'm doing whatever I want to do because I want to, and I'll do it when I want to. I'll do it on January 17th, or I'll do it on December 1st. I'll do it whenever I want to. And it doesn't even really matter what the date is. I will begin when I'm ready to begin. And one thing I did hear from a minister who had that same kind of thought about New Year's resolutions. He's like, I know you're going to do it. It's not, you shouldn't, but I know you're going to do it. So if you're going to do it, make sure that right now you are doing, you do something within the first 3 days. Within the first 3 days, go just do something minor, so that you can begin to at least focus on what it is that you're doing for yourself and not for someone else. And that was something that I thought, okay, I can do something at the beginning of the year relevant to a change that I wanted to make, but it was for myself, not for somebody else. So, it's very important for us as women to step away from all that, because we don't need to deal with any more guilt. We don't need any more shame. We got to step into our worthiness, step into our power, and do what we need to do for ourselves first.
So I'm going to tell you where this thing really started for me. It started in looking at the course of a work week, right? Like, we were rushing days of our lives to get to Friday and putting all of this pressure on Friday to deliver something on the weekend that we couldn't even slow down to enjoy. And we looked up and it was Sunday again. I'm like, we're putting a lot of pressure on a day, chasing time and life away for a day to deliver something that if I slowed down and organized and strategized and really thought about what it is that I needed, I could have dividends pay Monday through, right? Like, I wouldn't have to wait on Friday. And so when I started like looking at it that way, and then really watching the uptick, right? Like right around December 1st, folks start, and we're not even planning for it, right? Like, we're literally going to wait. We're not toiling soil. We're not planting seeds. We're literally waiting for December 31st, 11:59 to expect some magic. That's bullshit. There is no magic. It happens in the work that we do every single day, right? And you're absolutely right. It got commercialized really around our health and our wellness. We've got to get to the gym. We've got to get, and you walk in the door and you don't know what you're doing, right? And so you're already setting yourself up for failure, and you believe that this thing's going to happen for you overnight. Like you said, some folks are going to do it. And I'm not of the belief that everybody fails at New Year's resolutions. I know the majority of us, right, make this promise, because now we can commercialize. There will be t-shirts coming for Ditch Day, I promise you, right? Like, it's coming. We know how to commercialize in this country, right? And so what are you going to do in that 17 days if you're going to do something, right? Like, if you're still stuck in that mindset, and please don't, right? Like, I hope you walk away from this conversation really wanting to disrupt. Nope, I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to start my planning today, because whatever you think is going to happen on January 1, it's just the turn of a calendar. And I promise you, the calendar turns every single day. Stop giving it over. Right? And take command. I really like how you're saying, like, we're doing so many things for other folks and not paying attention to what it is that you need. Now, as a certified trainer, I'm certainly not going to tell you don't do the exercise thing, right? Because that's adding years to your life. That's a whole nother conversation. And There's no magic that's going to happen for any of the things that you desire. If you want a vision board, start visioning today. You have to practice. You have to try on some things. Everything isn't going to work the same for everyone. You're going to have to try on some things. Your willingness to sit again and give pressure, give way to a date. I'm going to tell you to check your history. How did your last 5 years of resolutions go? Check your history.
What I was about to say. Like, what happened last year? Did you make the same resolutions last year and the year before that and the year before that? And we're still here putting them on the list again and putting them on the vision board again. So that should let you know you got to do something different if you want something different. Yeah.
And it just compounds year after year. The weight of all of that just compounds because you're like, man, I said that same thing 10 years ago. I said that same thing 15 years ago, and it still hasn't happened. And when you get to that, it still hasn't happened. That's when your whole energy just drops to the floor.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And you said the weight compounds literally and figuratively, right? Because last year it was, I want to lose 20 pounds. This year it's, oh, I need to lose 30 pounds because you didn't do the thing all year long. So, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Give yourself some grace.
100%, right?
Yeah.
And that's what the try on is about, right?
Yeah.
Like you may discover that the weight journey or whatever the thing is that you're planning for in January, that you're not yet ready for it. And that's okay as well. And the minute you continue again to put the pressure on the day to deliver, I promise you, December 31st ain't checking for you. Right? It's not checking for you. So I'm not gonna, right? Like I'm not, listen, I cannot.
Not checking for you.
Not. So I'm gonna take command of what I know is checking for me. And that's today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Like, and I'm going to do a little bit of, and I'm going to try on, and I'm going to get it wrong sometimes. I'm going to get it right. And those are the seeds I'm planting so that whatever the thing is I desire for the future has a better outcome, has a better chance of having the outcome that I want versus, again, me thinking.
Okay. But okay. So why? Outside of the fact that we've been socialized to do it, right? But why? What does me saying creating this start date in the future, what does that do for me? Like, is it, okay, well, it's safe for me to start it, then. Oh, I'm gonna do it like then. And it's why? I guess is why do we not start today? I know I need to do this. Why am I not doing it today? Instead, I'm going to push it out 3 months, 2 months, January 1.
So I'm not ready today, right? Like I recognize I'm not ready today. The problem with the push out is I'm also not doing everything until the date, right? I may not be ready today, but if you continue to do nothing each day, you're not going to be ready that day either.
True.
And I really like, Bukeka, your ideal around fear. Right? Like I'm going to put it off because there's a fear of what will happen, what might happen. Some of us fear success.
True. There is an acronym now, FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Fear of missing out on what would be like if I were 10 pounds lighter, fear of missing out if I didn't become the entrepreneur, all of those things. And here's the other thing, and this goes a little deep. It's this thing about time, right? People understand that time is a man-made thing. It's a human thing.
It's a construct, yeah.
It's a construct. The fact that we have this narrative that we can run out of time also is embedded in the narrative and the commercialization of it. So I'm going to take this to a little bit of a direction. I am a singer-songwriter, right? And when one of the things that happens in the entertainment industry is this whole idea of prodigy, okay? she's only 12 years old and she sounds like that.
Mm.
He's only blah, blah, blah years old and he can throw that ball or whatever it is, okay? So for me personally, by the time I was 19, and I didn't have a contract from Sony or I didn't have a contract from Universal, I was out of time. Look at the narrative of the old maid story, or you are so, you're 18 and you don't have a husband by now, or you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. We create all of this stuff around time and how time runs out, when in fact it's something that we create to for some reason. I mean, like, just look at daylight savings time. What's that for, right? Other than to make people work longer hours, right? But this whole idea of time and having a fear that we're going to miss out on something if we don't hurry up and get it done right now, is another thing that compounds on us daily. Also, in many cases, almost hourly, right? It's a constant in our settings. It's in our default thinking. So you add that to the element of New Year's resolution. That's the other thing that we feel guilty about. We're running out of time. We've got to do this right now. We're running out of time. We're running out of time. And so if you're constantly in that fear of running out of time, then that's another thing that's going to keep you from actually doing what you want to do, because it's like, I'm running out of time anyway. Why should I even bother?
Oh, wow. So now it's why even create the New Year's resolution, right?
Right. From a place of hopelessness as opposed to hopefulness.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. And so what I really want to challenge folks that are listening, right? Inaction is action. Mm-hmm. And again, waiting on this magical date that provides no magic for the work that you need to start doing right now, whatever the thing is, right? Like the try-ons. We're not talking about achieving perfection. We're talking you taking control of your life, your moments, of the things that you do have, right? And so denying yourself the opportunity to do whatever it is, denying with the delay of, right, of what time of December 31st is supposed to promise us, because we've been socialized to believe that there's power in this thing, that if we wait for the reset, right, that it's going to look different, instead of thinking about right now. Right. God's got a blessing with your name on it today. Today. Right? And I am clear, he has not positioned you for denial down the road because you want to delay on a promise that he didn't give you. He didn't give you. And we're missing out on sharing whatever that greatness is, on discovering for ourselves.
Yes.
Right? How much is in us, despite, right? Like, I really like the reference around the entertainment industry and the idea that 18 is too late. It's incredible.
It is.
Right? It's incredible. And even though in the face of that, we still see folks who are later in years accomplishing a thing because they're still willing to try on despite what they've been socialized to do. Right. So I want us to talk about, what can we try on? How do we break the cycle? What can we do right now to disrupt? Right. To take our power back from December 31st. Right. What are some things we can do?
What can we do?
So I think those very things that you want to do, I like how, Michele, you say try on the thing, right? And so if you go down that list and you start looking at, the normal, again, I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start eating differently. I'm going to start working on my finances. Those things that are the norm that people put on the list. yeah, how do you start to try it out? I think the first thing is we got to write out what we want. We talk about writing, we talk about journaling, we talk about those things time and time and time again. I think the first thing you have to do is you have to really write out what it is that you even want to accomplish. Because to say I want to lose weight, or to say I want to do, I want to eat a certain kind of way, well, that's very broad and very general. Let's break it down and be extremely specific. How many pounds do you want to lose? You know what I mean? Like, okay, you want to stop eating meat. You want to write it out, because writing it out starts a chain reaction. Right? But you got to start somewhere. And I think that's the first step into trying it on before you get to whatever day that is. And then now I wrote it out. I want to stop eating meat. Well, okay, maybe you won't stop eating meat every single day, but maybe meatless Mondays.
Yeah.
Right? Again, trying the thing on. I like, but not waiting. Oh my God, not waiting. Because what are you waiting for? What are you really waiting for?
Here's one thing that comes to mind too, is when we're writing those things out, I mean, write it like it's happening right then and there.
I love that.
What does it sound like? What does it feel like? What does it smell like? And just really dive into that whole beauty of it all. Man, I am on the beach. I went to Michelle's class and the sister worked me out so tough, but I feel fabulous, right? I'm on the beach. I'm enjoying my life. I'm enjoying how I feel. I'm enjoying how I look. I'm in Turks and Caicos. I'm in Jamaica. I'm doing the things that I want to do with my life. And I plan this. And write it all out so that it jumps off the page and you feel yourself in that situation. That is a way that you can jumpstart everything, because now your whole body's involved, your whole the what do they call the synapses in your brain is like it's refocusing, it's reorganizing itself to move in the direction that you desire to move in, because at that point, when you're feeling it, when you've got all of that there, you're already in it, you're already there in that moment, and you don't have to wait for the 6 months it's going to take you to drop those pounds, right? Because you're already there in your in where you want to be once you have accomplished that goal.
And when you write it out and you start to visualize that thing, you're literally vibrating at a different frequency, and you're sending that vibration out. And the incredible thing is when you're operating that way, people, things, ideas, and opportunities start to show up that weren't there before, because now you're vibrating those things out. So yeah, it's start with writing it out. And like you said, feel it, get into it today.
Please, today. Right? Like it requires work, whatever that thing is, right? Like our dreams should be so big that they do scare us, right? And so we have to write it down. And we're not talking about drastic, right? Like Victoria said in the chat, like not drastic changes, subtle. What is the thing that I can build up to? And just like when you get a paycheck on Friday, you get it because you did work Monday through. Right? So you've got to do the work now if you're looking for a payout later. Stop denying and delaying your payout, again, because somebody told you what can happen on this, and you've got proof that it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
All right, again, I'm not talking about all. There are unicorns out there. I believe you exist, and you're a unicorn. Right? Because it takes a pressure off, this false pressure that we put or allowed society to put on us, that we have to be all of the things, right? Like, Bukeka, back to your point, right? Like that we have to look a certain way. So we're going to put all this pressure on ourselves to deliver, but I'm going to wait, right? And then, like you said, Crystal, this year it becomes 30, next year to become 40 pounds, because you continue to wait instead of recognizing every single day you have to show up for yourself to do the thing that you're dreaming of. in really small increments, that it feels natural, that you can own it, that you build in room for failure, but we're not going to give it up to a day on our calendar, right? Every day, when people on Facebook say Happy New Year, I'd say Happy New Day, because every day is your day, right? And again, I used to buy in, right? Like, so I'm not talking about, oh, no. I used to, right? Vision boards, I'm waiting, got my new membership, went to the gym, right? Like I did all of the things, and they benefited me not. One, because I didn't plan before I got there. It just showed up, expecting the magic to happen. The calendar changed, new year, new me, right? Like they got all of the slogans, all of the things, and they sound great. And I believe that words have power, and there are some things that we can say that speak into us. And it still requires us to do the work. I can say new year, new me all day. And if I'm sitting in this chair and that's the only thing I'm doing is saying, there's not going to be a difference, right? And then we've invested money we didn't invest it, we threw money away. Like we didn't invest it, we threw it away, right? Like we let the gyms believe we got a special for you. And there were 10,000 people that took that $49 special, and the gym is sitting on swole, and you lost your $49.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And isn't the journey doesn't start January 1, right? The journey starts today, and the journey lasts 365 days of the year.
Absolutely. And gets renewed every single
every day.
day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You've got to give God something to bless.
Hello.
Oh.
You got to give him something to bless.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. And
come on, people.
Because there's a scripture somewhere in there that says, isn't it, I don't know, something about, you got to do something for God to, right? You got to do your part. You got to faith without works, or something, right? Isn't that the thing?
It's dead.
Yeah.
Faith without works is dead. You are required.
You got to do something. And so it's interesting that January 17th, right, is Ditch Your Resolutions Day, because we've all heard 21 days for a habit.
Right.
You don't even make it 21 days. And then let's add the rest of that. It's 21 days to form a habit, but it's 3 consecutive 21-day cycles to form a lifestyle.
Correct.
And what we ultimately,
they forget to lift that part up, right?
We want to form a lifestyle. So now, if I start today, right, I'm 21 days to the good come, my math is off, but I'm 21 days to the good come January, whatever that day is going to be, right? So again, it goes back to the journey, the will, wanting to do it and wanting to change. And are you just saying, here are my New Year's resolutions, because we've been socialized, but really, you're just saying a thing to be saying a thing?
Right, absolutely, right? Like it's back to that fear of missing out. I want to be in with the crowds, and that's what folks do at a really high level, right? Like the diet start, the workout start, the visioning board starts. I'm going to start, I'm going to do.
Yeah. She's like, I can't.
Listen, it makes my skin itch, because you're giving power away to an imaginary thing.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a faith thing, right? Like you can't try me on conversations around faith. You will lose Facebook. Don't do that. Right. That's not what I'm saying, right? Like, again, the idea that a week is 7 days, and on this 31st day of this month, that I have no idea what it holds. I'm not putting faith in God to do a thing. I'm saying this click of this calendar is going to deliver when you have not done any of the works. And what do you think is going to happen, right? Like God, you've got to give him something. It's now is your time to think about what you want to be different and what is the work that you're willing to do. And is it the work that you want to do, not created by somebody else?
Right.
What is that thing?
Right.
What is that thing? And you've dabbled in it, I promise you, right? Like you've been dabbling and thinking about it. What is it like to put it into some action, to try on some things, to write those things down, envisioning yourself in it, smelling it, tasting it, experiencing it? I really love that, Bukeka, right? Like really being in it, immersing yourself in it so that you can feel and taste what it's like to have that thing.
Right.
Be excited about it.
December 31st isn't going to provide that for you. I don't care what you say.
Right.
If you aren't in the try-on stages building towards that thing now. Again, even if you want to say, I'm going to do my diet, when are you going to start planning for what that diet's going to look like?
Right.
Right? Are you going to get a trainer before you go to the gym? Or are you just going to randomly show up and start moving some weights and then think, right? Like 17 days. You bail out before you even did the thing that tells us, research shows, 21 days.
Right.
You quit on yourself one more time.
Wow. You know, I love how you have brought the aspect that that God has a role in you, right? Right? God has a role in you. And I often talk about the observer self, right? That the ability to kind of see yourself from the external to you. And I liken that to how God sees us. First of all, God created us. God created us out of all of the beauty and mercy and grace and love that there is and ever has been, right? So when God looks at us, God does not look at us and go, you know what? You made that resolution and you didn't do it again. That doesn't happen.
Right.
So, you know, I just encourage people to look at yourself as God sees you. And the fact that we are equipped with immense intelligence. A lot of people see themselves as inadequate and unworthy. Okay, so I want you to think about this. When did you have to tell your heart to beat? When did you have to tell your lungs to breathe? You never have to do that, because there is a divine intelligence in you that comes from that God that created you. How can you look at yourself? And that was the turning point for me. And I was, you know, like 30. I looked in the mirror one day and I just looked at my face. And I'm like, it was downtrodden. You know what it's like to have a downtrodden face at 30 years old? That does not even make sense. You're supposed to be kicking it and having a good time.
Right.
And I looked at myself and I was like, why is this? But suddenly in that moment, I knew that God was looking at me too. And God sees me as God created me. An amazing, incredible aspect of God itself. I created you. I created you out of me. You what you have in you is what it is me in you. Right? So how can I come from a place of guilt, fear, shame, doubt, unworthiness, or anything like that when I know that God is looking at me as his creation, right? So, you know, the next time you start thinking about, you know, in the audience, next time you start thinking about those resolutions out of guilt, fear, shame, doubt, whatever, remember that, you know, to look at yourself as God sees you, and that God has equipped you with so much genius. Your existence is an expression of absolute genius.
I love that. I love that. Right. And again, stop delaying what he wants to give you now if you show up and do the things in which he has purpose and designed you to do, or this new amazing thing that again you want to try on. Today is your day. So Facebook, if you are one of those who usually practices resolution, we're inviting you to break that cycle. Drop in the chat, what is the thing that you were going to wait, right? Put it in existence. We're going to hold you accountable to try on some things now instead of waiting. Planning is part of a journey. I'm not saying that you just wake up every single day and have it right. So there is planning. We're talking about taking the power back from a particular day on your calendar as the day that allows you to be able to do the things that's your goal. Today is your goal because today is the day that's been promised. Tomorrow is not. We all have too many examples, especially coming out of COVID, of how fragile and short life is. What would it look like to start today, the thing that you're waiting on December 31st? What would that look like? And then if you happen to still be one of those, I'm a die hard, I'm a ride or die to my resolutions, right? We're going to invite you to break the narrative to change that ditch day, right? This year, push yourself at least to day 18, darn it, right? Like, if you're going to go, be great and stay in it, all right? Like, what would it be like to be the breaker of that? And you made it 18 days, you made it 19 days. So if you still got to do it, although I invite you not to, if you still have to do it, at least push yourself past that. Get the benefit of what the resolution was supposed to give you. For the rest of us who recognize that God is gifting me this moment, I'm going to write down, I'm going to share what that resolution, share it with your tribe, check your tribe, make sure that there are people that want to see you be great and make room for your gifts. Share it with your tribe so that they can begin to hold you accountable. They can check in with you, right? I'm going to tell you, you may not accomplish that thing that you're thinking about in 365. And if you keep showing up, God's going to bless your efforts. I promise you, he will. It may not even look like the thing that you thought. I promise you, if you put it in the center of it, it's going to look even better. But you can't wait for December 31st to be the space where you hit the go button. You cannot. Please don't. Stop it. I have to get back on Facebook again, right?
She say, stop it.
Help me, help you, help me. Like, I can't.
So I invite you to reflect, right? Reflect on the past. And then, Bukeka, I like when you talked about how we were made and how God made us, right? And sometimes, and you uplifted that fear and that guilt thing, right? So how about we start reflecting on, first of all, what we have accomplished, because we don't celebrate ourselves enough, right? So let's start with that. So there's this thing that I do on New Year's Eve, right? And this is part of it. It's always a reflection and a celebration of what I've accomplished, right? And then I look at, okay, well, what do I need to accomplish? And understand, when we talk about New Year's resolutions, there's a difference between planning and then there's a resolution.
Correct.
Right. There's a difference, because we are supposed to plan our life. So New Year's Eve, I'm looking at what did I accomplish this last year, and being grateful for all of those things, and how God and the ancestors helped me to get these things done. But then I'm also looking at, what are the things that I want to accomplish next year, and I'm planning my year, right? Because in business, it's very, very important to be able to do that, right? Now, it's not, I'm going to wake up on January 1 and I'm going to do this and it's all magically going to be okay. And on January 1, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to have the 6-pack abs. So, right. But during that reflection, I think it's really, really important, in order to be able to create the lifestyle that you want, that you have to release the things that no longer serve you.
That part.
Right? And so if making New Year's resolutions didn't serve you for the last 5 years, right? We definitely want to release those things, but we have to release the things that no longer serve us in order to be able to replace them with things that will get us to where we want to be. And then we have to remember
I'm starting something new. I can't, like, it's giving birth right here, right? So instead of resolving on January 1, I'm gonna start a thing. How about every January 1, we reveal the thing that we've already done. We uncover and share the things that we've done, right? Like the things that you've been working on. We announce.
I love it.
We announce the things that we overcame, the victory that we had, the business that we started, and we spend the next 364 doing the work for the next great thing. So we're not resolving, we're revealing.
We're revealing.
I'm starting a new thing. Right? I'm starting a new thing, right?
I'm in.
It's reveal day. Because I'm taking my power every single day to receive the gifts that God's got for me, because he sees me being diligent and being obedient. And next year, we're going to do this show and we're all going to reveal the magnificent works that we've done every single day, foot on the gas, because we know that God's going to bless our great, it's reveal day. I feel better about life right now.
I'm so excited.
I love that. I'm in. I'm all down for that. And for those that are thinking, okay, but I can't do this. Like I can't do the thing. You got to go back and remember who you are, right? Because Bukeka said, you know, God created us in his image. That means we get to create. But the beautiful thing is we get to co-create with the creator of all creators.
How about that?
Right? So no more living small. You have to remember who you are. And I know some people are saying, well, wait a minute. Yeah. I get to create. What do you mean? Right? And this is something that I say all of the time to women specifically. If you have the power to create life, right? You can't lose the 20 pounds, right? You can't stop eating the stuff that's killing you from the inside anyway. You gave birth to something, right? That's like the biggest thing ever. So, and then everything around us has been created by somebody. It started with a thought. It started with a thing. So yeah, I mean, as dynamic as we are, well, we don't have to talk about New Year's resolutions anymore because it's reveal day. That's the thing.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct. Right? And I will be spending the next to be talking about, right? Like what reveal day looks like. Going to drop gems throughout the year.
Yeah.
Because that's how we disrupt the narrative. And that's how we show a world who continues to silence the voice of Black women, that we know how to be active, we know how to be present, we know how to own, and we know how to be amazing. We know how to own that thing, right? Yeah, reveal day.
I'm so excited about that.
I am too.
Listen, right? I'm telling you, when you're obedient, God will give you.
Listen.
He knows how these resolutions have just really worked my soul because we give power away. And so many spaces, our power is taken from us.
Yeah.
Right? Because this country was built not inviting Black faces into it. Right? Like we're clear on that. So the places where we can take our power and own it and utilize it for the things that God is designing for us, why would I hold it and give it to this arbitrary day on the calendar, right? Like we already know society creates things to feed our frenzy, right? Like there's National Donut Days, right? Like they create the
thing. That was for you.
That one was for me. Right? Like we create these arbitrary things and we get in a frenzy about them and they don't serve us for the whole. I'm saying December 31st will not serve you for the whole. Today is your day. Own and operate inside of your amazing. God positioned you for it.
Yeah.
Every other Black woman needs you for it.
Your children.
And most importantly, you owe it to yourself.
Yeah, your children need you for it,
right?
Yeah, your children need you for it because you want to break that cycle with them as well. That you're not saying, well, what are you going to do for it's reveal day? That's the new thing. It's a thing,
right? I tell people all the time, right? We talk about legacy, right? What is your legacy? What are you going? And legacy doesn't always come in the form of dollars and generational wealth. That's a beautiful thing.
Right.
And it's not going to be everybody's journey, but every last one of us have an opportunity to leave legacy for somebody that is looking at us, needing us to live into our greatness, to release the fear, the shame, and the guilt, and to live into it. And when you can identify that thing and you work on that, I look forward to hearing what you reveal. 300. I'm just going to start commercializing that everywhere I go.
Oh, absolutely.
So Bukeka, how can folks find you? I really love the way that you utilize your voice. I love the sound of your voice, Bukeka. I found myself Crystal leans in when something's really, I found myself leaning in a lot. Something about your energy is so powerful.
Yeah.
How can folks find you after this conversation ends?
Well, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. So I'm going to share with you what I share with a group of women that I chime in with on Clubhouse on many mornings. And we jump in and we say what our passion is. My name is Bukeka. I go by Bukekastyle. I use the power of my voice to heal hearts, touch souls, and be a positive vibe in humanity. I love to travel, so I started my own travel business, Travel Bukekastyle. I love to connect globally, so I started my own global connect platform called Global in Minutes on Bukekastyle.com. And I love to help people get their message out to the world. So, and I wanted to have my own talk show. So what I do, I started my own Roku channel called Fave Unite TV, Fans, Artists, and Venues, Fave Unite.
I love it.
And I love to help people to know their worth and remember that they are worthy. So you can find my music on Spotify under Bukekastyle. And I'd like to leave your listeners with a little bit of song, just a little bit. And it goes right into this whole thing of blowing the narrative right out the water.
So Bukeka, before you sing this song, I want to get this comment in from one of our Facebook listeners, and I believe it's going to be a powerful backdrop to, and then when I finish, please bless us with your gift. So Victoria says, when you feel that you can't, write those things down in the context of you can. Put it on index cards and put them everywhere. Every time you see it, read it aloud. Here's the power. Confession brings possession. Confession brings possession. Say it until you receive it in your spirit. You can do it. We are amazing.
We are.
Take it away. Thank you, Victoria.
There's no mystery or myth as to how long I've been doing this, inspiring possibly in the millions, those I may never see. I've been consistent in my game, but now I'm ready for a change. It's time to let go of the old me and rise again. Just like the phoenix, I'm rising from the ashes. It's time to change my story, step into my glory, no longer defined by what's behind me. Just like the phoenix, lost inside the blaze, is the old me that sizzled away. It's a new day, maintaining my beauty, but it's a new me. And now it's time to fly. Happy Reveal Day.
Happy Reveal Day, if that's not the theme song to this thing. Oh my. Bukeka, thank you so very much. There was a line in that song talked about blessing of lives of Crystal Gunn. You continue to bless the lives of women who have never been in a room with you.
Mm.
That song had your name written all up and through it, as the kid would say. Your obedience is changing lives, challenging us to take risk, and to own and operate our amazing. You provide a platform, not to sell, but to provide women who are doing amazing things across this globe to come and be celebrated for who they are. You never center yourself, never center yourself. You allow the possibility for all of us to think about what it is if we just decided to be amazing. Crystal Gunn, I'm so very blessed to be able to be on this journey with you. I look forward to what comes in 2023, what dynamic guests you bring on that we get to learn from, laugh with, cry with. Bukeka, I don't know where you've been all of my life, but today you have blessed my soul. I knew there was something in your voice, and just the sound of it, that there was a gift, that I know that you are touching lives. And the exclamation point was on that song. Thank you for the gift and for your obedience as well. Crystal Gunn, close us out.
Okay. I didn't know that I was going to have to try to recover in this thing and try to do this while I'm tearing up. Bukeka, I believe you just had a performance, right? Is there another one coming up soon?
Look out for Intimate Evenings with Bukekastyle. I'll make sure to let you know when that's going to launch on your amazing platform. And thank you so much.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you both, Michele. I could not do this without you, nor would I ever dream of doing this without you. There's something that I do every morning. It's a give thanks sort of thing where through all of the body parts, and it's about raising vibrations. But one of the things that I say is, I'm grateful for this voice. And I'm grateful for yours, because together, our voices will be heard by millions all over the world. That is one of the things that's on my list that I keep pushing and keep striving for, because I believe what we do here is really, really important. Amazing Women Speak is sponsored by the Amazing Woman Network, which was created to unite and empower Black women globally, focusing on our core pillars of reclaiming our personal power, mind, body, and spirit. I think we did some of that today. Reclaiming our financial power, because you all know that's extremely important to me, and increasing our social involvement. So there are some great things coming for the Amazing Woman Network in 2023, and there are some incredible things coming for Amazing Women Speak. So please find Amazing Women Speak on YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, and Roku. Just search for Amazing Women Speak and take a look at past episodes. There is something that will feed your soul, I promise you, because every week we're fed. We have dope and incredible guests, but I don't think there is a day that we leave here, Michele and I, that we're not like, okay, wow, something else that I need to add to my toolkit. So we will be on vacation for the rest of 2022 because we need a break. But we'll return January 8th with the topic that started it all, the bullshit bar. Right. And so we've heard the term raise the bar, and that bar is something that we typically aspire to reach. Everyone wants to reach the bar, and society has created this bar for Black women. And it's this unattainable, unrealistic, ever moving, spirit killing, self-hate evoking bullshit bar. And so part of what we do on Amazing Women Speak is to recognize the bar, dismiss it, and create that new standard. And that is that standard of owning our amazing, Black women owning our amazing. So I thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Crystal L. Gunn. I am a Black woman and I own my amazing. Michele.
Thank you, Crystal. What a year it has been. If you have not seen all of the episodes, as Crystal said, please go back and check them. There is opportunities, nuggets, blessings, joys, laughters, and tears to be shared, to really be in space where you get to hear from amazing women, that we are lifting each other up to our greatest potential without judgment, without cattiness. Like, this is the way in which community should be. And I'm grateful to have been able to sit in this space, to sit in this chair in 2022 and have these powerful conversations. I have been fed immensely. I have grown. My life has changed. I've thought differently because of the dynamic women that have shared their gifts. I'm so very grateful to every guest that we've had this year. And I couldn't have imagined a more lovely gift to then end the year with you, Bukeka. Your gift has really been a blessing and a really amazing exclamation point to a dynamic year. Ladies, if you did not get fed, it's because you did not come to the table to eat.
Oh, jeez.
These are the times in which we get to own and operate both our agency and our amazing. My name is Michele Harper. I am a Black woman and I own my amazing. Bukeka.
I'm speechless, and at the same time, I'm so full. Thank you so much, Crystal, Michele, for allowing me to be the guest on this wonderful, wonderful, amazing show, platform, experience, all of the above. And I want to thank the amazing Black women who have come before us, who have sacrificed so much, and the amazing Black women that we are raising. I am Bukekastyle, and I own my amazing.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We will see you guys all on January 8th, 2023. Let's not forget, January 1st is
Reveal Day. Let's go. Let's go. Watch Amazing Women Network's page, watch mine. We're going to be talking about this.
We're going to be talking about
reveal the thing, and we're going to work in 2023.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you. Happy holidays to all. We will see you in 2023. Good night.